Hey YouTube, it's Queen Pam Elon QP here, and I was going to do an ink comparison between the tailored expressions and everything else that I own for some friends when I realized by looking in my swatch book that I did not have um, Pink Fresh done. So I'm going to do Pink Fresh and talk to you about how I make these tags. First of all, it's a file that I created and I cut with my Silhouette Cameo, and I cut it out of the paper I normally stamp on, which is Paper Trays Stampers White, I think, or something with white in the name. And so I cut a bunch of those, and I used my P-Touch Cube Plus to create labels for the tags based on Pink Fresh's names, and I keep all my supplies in a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet. But I also wanted to talk about what I do for these cubes. So the cube is too pale for me to be able to read the name. So I also print a label that I put across their actual label. And I labeled the bottom because if you've ever had these fallen or um, get mixed up on your desk with the tops off, there's no label on the bottom of a lot of them. And so I always label the bottom piece too so that I can quickly find the top, put the label on it. So that's what I've done. These are stored in, I believe, this is an Iris brand project kit, the one that's sized for 8.5 by 11 paper. I can give you the measurements right quick. I think this one is, yeah, a 12 by 12 one, or a 12 by like 11. So I love this one for ink cubes. All of my the 59, I believe that there are of tailored expression fit in here, and I have room for a few more. So this is where we're going. What I do, zoom in, with the tags is I stamp them with, where did it go? So I put everything on my desk. Yep, waffle flowers. Um, what is it called? Color combos for ink pads. And I use the square. I stamp. I wipe it off with my tidy. This one's from, it's one of those things that soaks up a lot of water. I got mine from the automotive department. And I also, if it's really stubborn, clean it with this, wipe it with this, dry it with a microfiber cloth. And before I stamp on here, I stamp on a test piece of paper. And when I get them all done and they're all labeled, I take my crocodile, the big one, because it's just easier for me, and I put them on one of these rings, locking rings, and I take several of them at a time, and I punch a hole in them. Now, why do I punch a hole in them? So let's say I wanted to match something perfectly with something else. This is my watercolor ring. So let's say I wanted to find or know how this would look with watercolor. I can see the watercolor through it, and if I can find the maroons in here, or if I have any. So is this close? Nope, it's kind of bright. That's closer. That's almost good enough for government work. So that would be Daniel Smith's Bordeaux. So I would know how to match that. that it, the ink was gonna match that. So let me get them done and we'll be back, or I can actually show you a few, and let me get set up and I'll be right back. We're gonna work in alphabetical order because, come on, I printed the labels in alphabetical order. So I'm gonna take my blank label and I'm going to apply. Let's see, which way do I want it? I want to go this way. A blank label like that. And let me find apricot in the Print Fresh ink. I have labeled the bottom of these, even though, because I store mine like this. So I needed to be able to see the name on the side. And I used the small square here to label that. And I didn't use the P-Touch for this. This was sticker paper in Word. All right, so I've got it. You want a block that's comfortable and small so that you know where you're going. And if you haven't seen this, I showed how I applied tape to these in a previous video. I stamp up. I need some scratch paper. So I've got some scratch paper. Give it a test on there, see how it's doing. It's good. I'm going to stamp about in the middle. I'm going to let it sit for like 1, 2, 3 to make sure the ink has transferred. I'm not going to stamp it again because I want it to be true to the stamp. It will smooth out. That's what these inks do. Close up my ink pad, give it a rub. Stamped off on the um, scratch paper. Give it a wipe. Give it a dry. Ready for the next one. I have my labels with the sticky part peeled back and stuck to the glass mat when I'm done. So then I can just pick up the next one, cut it off. You can't see the edge of my glass mat. And then I'm just going to stick it back to the glass mat. Come over here. Which way did I do it? I did it this way. Apply it, give it a rub. Find island, no, aquamarine. Open it up. Give it a stamp. Give it a test stamp. Make sure I got it clean. One, two, three. That's it. Put it away. Stamp off on the test paper. Get all as much ink off as possible. Rub-a-dub-dub in the ink off stamp cleaner. Rub-a-dub-dub in the water. Dry. Rinse, repeat. I'll be back when these are all done. They're not all done, but I don't want to leave my camera on that long. So I've got a few done. And so I stack them up. Bring in my crocodile. I have it set to the 1/8 inch hole punch. You can see it coming down there. And I line them up. I line them up where I know the hole punch is going to be pretty much in the center or somewhere where it's completely surrounded by color. And I punch. And these are all punched somewhere where they're surrounded by color, because I pretty much sort of stamp in the same spot, not exact, but close enough for government work. And then they're now ready for you to be able to color match. Thanks everybody for watching. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Also, I would love it if you would like and subscribe my videos. Thank you so much for watching.